What's good, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a sage review on all three sages since I just unlocked them. Just unlocked all of them. You can go see when I unlocked Snake Sage and Snail Sage. There's like little clips. Those I didn't get Frog mode sadly, but Frog mode it's like the easiest one, so I don't really care too much. How I get most of these modes is I just buy a private server and then snipe them. Completely just snipe them. So what I do is I'd go into certain where they spawn, right? And I just join private servers and leave private servers and then join the private server and then leave the private server and join another one and then join another private server and then join another private server until I see Snail Spirit Awakening has spawned, and that's what I did last time, and that's what worked for Snake Sage. So if y'all wanna get some of these, yeah, these are pretty easy to get if you have 1,000 Robux, actually, and so are like some of the tailed beasts. If you get private servers, you could probably unlock most of these things. Anyways, let's get on to the point. So first mode is going to be the Frog Toad mode, Toad Summoning Spirit Awakening. Now I don't have the step ability. I'm not sure if this like adds on another like if you press like Z and then 2, if it adds another mode, or if it's just a completely separate mode itself. It's basically just Sage mode. I'm not sure what the deal with that is, but I just don't know what it does. Anyways, so when I hold down Z, or wait, hold on, when I go into my special ability, I summon like Gamabunta, and I go around, and then at the end I slash somebody. I just slash. This one took me a while to figure out. Not the fact that I couldn't do it, or just for a while I didn't know how to do it. It just took me a while, like how to like know how to aim it. It's kind of weird. It just goes wherever your tracker is. I found that out in the war server when me and my friend were trying to get like a Susano, and so I found that out on the war server, and it's not 100% accurate. So I wouldn't go if you guys want a summoning scroll or a summoning spirit. This one's the easiest option, but at the same time, it's probably not the best option there is. Anyways, okay, moving on. We're gonna go into Snake Sage. You can probably see the slug back there. We'll get onto that in a second. Okay, so Snake Sage is pretty good. I'd say it's the best for PvP out there, but the stats aren't too good. Let me get into Snake Sage mode real quickly. The stats aren't too good. The cape looks pretty cool. It goes with my avatar, that's why I like it. And what I think is basically the best about this is that its mode is super fast, does a lot of damage, and it's pretty easy to control. I didn't mean for that to happen. It's pretty easy to get stuck too, but it's the easiest to control, and it's the easiest, one of the hardest ones to find. I mean, so honestly, what I do is I use Snake Sage whenever I'm like attacking somebody. And then for the final mode, which is the Snail Sage mode, whatever. This one took me a while to find, but I found it eventually. And this, I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite modes. I don't really even know why. I just like using it as a troll mode. You'll see why in a second, but as you can see, this doesn't have a second mode to it. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that the snake mode has a second mode to it. I just haven't unlocked it yet. It's at like level 500. I'll unlock that soon, and I'll show you guys about that and do like a full showcase of each of them, like their full abilities and stuff, or maybe just Snake Sage, because we are showcasing the full abilities for Snail and Toad. But oh great. All right, we'll get back to the bridge. Oh great. Okay, so to showcase its ability, you want to right click and then press Z. Oh, I didn't mean to press R. Hello, dude. Okay, you want to right click and press Z. And this is super good for healing. But then again, it's also good for taking away mode from opponents that are fully healed. Because if you stand in there for too long, it takes your mode and turns it into health. But if you have full health and you stand in here, you lose a lot of your mode in the first place. So I like this to just place it in like random spots, because I don't think this disappears, right? So if you place this in like the most random spot, right, like right here, specifically on this. Oh, didn't work. Yeah, sometimes I think this is a little bit glitchy. It does glitch a lot. His stats though are pretty good, other than Taijutsu, which I'm not gonna lie, that's a big downgrade for me because I like to use Taijutsu a lot. But everything else is super good here, and the ability itself is pretty cool. So if I just place that like that, like people who want to grind their Susanoo leveled up, they can't use that pole anymore. And if we get 3 other people with Snail Sage, you can completely eliminate these. So it's so funny too. It's just an overall pretty cool one to use. It's probably the most underrated, and it's the one that's like kind of in the middle, like of it's not too hard to find, but it's pretty hard to find. It's harder to find than the frog or the toad sage, but not harder to find than the snake sage. And the reason the snake sage is the hardest is because it has a second mode that I haven't unlocked yet. I'll show you guys that right now. If I hold down Z and then press 2, it was saying in the bottom right. Oh, pressing shift 2. Cobra Spirit Awaken level 500 required. So real quickly, I'm gonna post this, and I want to try and get to level 500 with the Snake Spirit Awakening, and then we'll see what the ability is. I think I already have a pretty good idea of what it is, or maybe I don't. I think I might know what it is. I probably don't though. Anyways, I'm gonna get this video out real quickly. This obviously is the mode. This is probably my favorite mode because at the end it does a lot of damage, like even more than anything else, and it's so easy to control too. So it's very good to take out like Susanos or tailed beasts. But overall, I'd say if you're fighting, these can be classified in ranks. Okay. At this point, we could probably cross out Toad Sage, unless you know how to control it, and that's the only Sage mode you have. Then that's probably not good. You should probably grind for this Snake mode, because Toad mode, I think the only good thing about it is that it has like more range, or it has like more range to hit hitboxes. So that's good, I guess. But it's only used in like what 2 ways you could think of, pretty much. And everything else, the 2 other Toads, the Sage modes are pretty much better. So if you can, try and get Snake mode, because this is the best for PvP, pretty much, in my opinion. This is probably the best for PvP. The stats, yeah, they're pretty bad. But once you unlock its second mode, trust me, it's going to be worth it. It's pretty good. I think so anyway. It's going to be pretty good. And its special mode, which is pretty much this sum up of the first stage and everything, is probably the best mode. Definitely not in a village. I wouldn't do this. But it's pretty easy to control in the village too. And then for snail mode, this mode is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best. It's definitely better than most modes out there. It's definitely better than some modes. I wouldn't say it's the best mode ever, but it's pretty good if, let's say you're on the war server and you need a healer. You need like Sakura or something. This role right here is pretty good. Because if you have Snail in like the most reasonable of places, it's going to be super good to have. So then people can just walk in, trade some mode for some HP, then bam, they're healed up. Especially when you're fighting like the Susanos and stuff. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up here. I forgot to mention, the stats on this one are phenomenal. The only thing that's pretty bad is the Taijutsu stats. But other than that, I don't really think that really matters. I also forgot to mention that Toad Sage has like pretty much the most balanced stats out of all 3 of them. The thing is that both of the other things can be better, depending on how you think of it, because Snake Sage can be way better in its second stage, but it will take up more mode. So that's with these little modes that you can get, is that they take up little to no mode, MD, right there. So it's pretty good to use when you're fighting like a tailed beast or a Susano with like a friend or 2. What I would do, my personal thing, is I would to beat like a tailed beast or Susano, I would place a snail with my other with my healer, thing with this Snow Sage, and I'd go into Snake Sage, and then I could like easily kind of clear out, and then once I'm like super low, I can go back into the circle thing. Just don't forget, don't waste all your mode going into health, because then that would mean you go into red mode, you can't charge up any more chakras, so that would kind of suck. But yeah, other than that, I think the snail looks pretty cool. Out of all the ratings, I think the snail looks the worst, but it still looks pretty cool out of all of them. So yeah, this is pretty much gonna sum up pretty much everything. Here. Toad Sage probably the worst. Snail Sage second best. Or depends how you think of it. This is my opinion. Snail Sage is second best, and then Snake Sage is the best because it has 2 modes and the second mode is OP. All right, that's gonna sum up today's video. See you guys later. Bye. Peace.